And we are live.
Welcome everybody to our first episode. I am super excited, but also super flustered because this has been a gong show to say the least.
Yes. And this week has been crazy with business launch and travel and Alex with pregnancy and children. It has been a huge week, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's been super interesting to see, how we as women, we're great multitaskers. Like, I just got to give us some props here. The fact that we were able to pull this off in the middle of absolute chaos between our family lives, you traveling, me really having lack of being prepared through this whole thing.
Where did the time go?
No kidding, hey? And it really got me thinking. I was thinking about what we were going to talk about on our first episode, and we had a couple things planned, but it's kind of funny how things just work out where you realize what you actually need to talk about.
Yes.
And for me, it really just brought out the fact that this is the life of an entrepreneur. This is, the struggle of being your own boss it's very rewarding. Don't get me wrong, but you don't have somebody telling you this is what you need to do and this is how it runs smoothly. You really have to find that for yourself. And so this has been a really good example of that.
And that's the thing is, actually, I'm a major planner. I have 1,000 lists everywhere. And at the time, it makes me feel better that I'm like, okay, I wrote it down. I'm totally going to do it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, where's that list again? So I write everything down and I plan, and yet still look at us, we're all flustered, and we have had some technical difficulties. So if you're not noticing, this is not a live, we're recording this live between us, but we couldn't stream it on Facebook. Facebook really likes to change a lot of things constantly. And that's something that I'm always keeping up with in my business. I always have to be up to date with what's happening with Facebook. And literally it seems impossible sometimes. And without your help with things, Alex, and many other people that support me in this, I don't know where I would be. So I know that we have got this. And yeah. And for those of you that don't know, Alex and I met I was going to say this year, but actually now it's last year. And we met at an event for our businesses that we run in Kelowna, actually. And that was really awesome. And then it was it November or October that we met in Edmonton?
It was November.
Right. I have lost all track of time between Christmas and then vacation. I'm like, what day is it? Oh, right, Monday. We're doing that episode today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no kidding. I know. Even for me, I'm not even traveling, and I'm still flustered with what day it is.
I know.
But me and Mandy, we met at the first event there, and that's really when our journey together started happening. And it made me feel not alone, because when I jumped into this, that was the first event that I had ever gone to. Mm-hmm. And so to say I was nervous is an understatement. I was super nervous, super freaked out. I'm normally an introvert. I'd rather be at home, chilling in my own house with nobody. And so this was way out of my comfort zone, but I really wanted to dive into the whole business side of things and trying new stuff. And I was so thankful for Mandy, because me and her just pushed each other to try new things. We ended up doing a little mini interview, which ended up both of us being on camera, which was super nerve-wracking, but it was such a good experience. I remember standing in that line waiting for our turn. And I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this? I feel the anxiety rising. My face is bright red. But afterwards, I felt so excited that I just stepped into something different, something that I've never tried before. And that's another point on being an entrepreneur that I love. I love all of the new things that I've tried. And now being able to do this with you, which is completely new, completely out of my comfort zone again, I'm just so thankful for you and
And
for our relationship.
and yet we both had the same idea. You're like, yeah, I was totally thinking that. So see, great minds.
Yeah.
And I know for those of you that know me and people that don't, a lot of people just think I'm like this super social person all the time. And actually, I really like my privacy. I like to be at home. I'm not really that person that goes out all the time. And definitely like being at that event in Kelowna was huge for me. I went by myself. I flew from Edmonton to Kelowna, and I met up with people who I had spoken with online only for the past year, but had never met face to face. And you know what? It was built up to be something way scarier than actually what it was. So, point being, if you have something this year, like I know it's all that new year, new you crap, but in a way it is true. Push yourself to do things that you haven't done before, because you likely will be quite surprised at what you're capable of. And you know what? Every time that I have done something like that, I'm so freaking proud of myself. And I literally feel like I can do anything. And then, you know, slowly life comes in and I'm like, get less and less sure of myself. I slowly go down. And, you know, this past year in starting my own business and it being online and everything, like I am so far outside of anything that I've done before. And I've just stopped really caring what anyone thinks. And that's been my biggest thing. Yeah. So also, for those of you that don't know, I'm in Jamaica. I wish that my house was like this cool of colors, but it's just not. We've been here for a few days now. Myself, my husband, and our 4 kids. And it's beautiful. Let's just say getting here was a little bit of a adventure, maybe you could say. So yeah, I don't know those of you who love to travel and stuff, and some people just say they don't want to travel until their kids are much older. Each time that we fly somewhere with the kids, I constantly think, why are we doing this? Like, I know I want to go to the beach and like have a nice time with the kids, but why the hell are we doing this? And this time was no different. My kids are 3, 5, 13, and 15. And let's just say on the plane ride down, the older boys were the problem. Like literally, we did the red-eye flight from Edmonton to Toronto, then Toronto to Jamaica. And we had to separate the older boys. There's this poor lady trying to sleep on the plane. And the boys are so giddy. They're like, oh my God. And then younger 2 slept like babies. It was really good. And then flipped the script on the next flight. Things were a bit more difficult. Point being, I said to myself, why the hell are we doing this? Who does this? Are we crazy people? And then now that we're here, it has been worth every second of it. I know that things are changing with how people travel. Like I've done my fair share of travel, like myself and with my family, but we've never rented like a villa or a house before. And I know Airbnb and like the things you can book online now, like it's huge. And this is our first time doing it like in a tropical destination, and I highly suggest it. I will put the link to where I'm staying in the comments on this video, because definitely if you are looking for somewhere that is affordable, because those of you also that know me know that although I travel, it's only with good deals. Like we're a family of 6. Yeah. We need the deals.
Well, you know what? I'm super thrifty like that too. And you know, I haven't gone, I've only been within Canada. And one of our dreams is to, and one of the reasons why I even started this entrepreneur journey is because one day we want to be able to homeschool the kids and travel the world together. And it's funny with, you know, just you explaining the chaos of traveling with a family. That's something that I have anxiety about. It's still one of my biggest dreams to be able to do, but I definitely have that anxiety because let's be honest, kids are freaking unpredictable.
Yes.
And you know, and I find I get more stress and anxiety with my kids than anyone else. And I mean, I love them, don't get me wrong, but it's just because, you know, I just worry so much about you know, what they're going to say. And it's funny to me because I love that about them, but I also get that anxiety. I love that they're so blunt and they'll turn to a stranger and tell them exactly what they think, but it also gives me severe anxiety.
Totally, totally. And you never know what they might need. So there I am packing and I'm like, okay, we need everything. Like we need to put the whole house into the suitcase. What if they want that sippy cup? What if they need that water bottle? And I literally stopped myself this trip. I packed over the course of like a week, like little by little, and I'd revisit what I put in and I'm like, what are you doing? No one needs slippers, Mandy. We are in Jamaica. So it is a process where you learn as you go, and the more you do it, just like everything, Alex, it will become easier and easier. And my kids have embarrassed me like 10 times already. And yet, this is part of the adventure, right?
Yes.
This is part of everything.
And I think that just comes into play too. Like that's something that I'm learning right now, just through my journey through the business, is that unpredictability is going to happen. It's a part of the game. And so my kids they're a good reminder of that, to be flexible and to be adaptable to what's happening and to my surroundings. And so it's definitely started to become one of my strengths, is to become adaptable through situations in life. Like for instance, like I said, just with, you know, trying to get this together, you know, you have that excitement about something and then, you know, things just don't go as planned. Like we did a test run yesterday, tried to do a test run yesterday and it didn't work out. And I was like, oh, we probably should have done this earlier. But, you know, at the same time, we figured out some way that it was going to work. So we became adaptable. And I think it's important to be like that in your life. If you can't adapt to what's going on, then you're going to feel more of that stress, more of that anxiety versus just being able to go with the flow. I feel like there's a big strength to being able to do that, right?
And that's hard for, I don't know if it's just me, but it's hard for a lot of mothers. Like our kids thrive on routine. We thrive on routine. And I am a person who very much always has needed routine. My routine's gone. I'm like, well, why even bother? Like my day isn't going to go as planned. And I would always throw in the towel, no matter what it was. And that has been one of the biggest changes for me since working for myself, is that if I did that with everything, like literally I would do nothing. My kids run the whole show and I have to be able to go with the flow of them and fit in the things that I want in between that and make it happen no matter what. And that's a difficult thing for a lot of people. And the support system that you have in place for that to hold you accountable is huge. Alex, if you weren't like here, I would have been like, well, F this. Like we're not even doing, like why even bother, you know? But we still did it. And let me tell you, like, look at me. Okay. We packed 4 suitcases, 2 carry-on size ones and 2 regular size luggage for our family of 6. Okay. That is it. And where's the sound happening here? So the suitcases all made it, but let's just say, I don't know what the hell happened, but they are all beat up, like wheels fallen off, handles smashed off. And we're like, oh, that's a bit rough. We get here, we're unpacked. We are missing a few things. One of them being my hairbrush. Okay. One of them being some shoes, like some batteries, and they must have like busted open. So I'm like, I'm going to go on the internet like this. Like, I don't even have a hairbrush. Yes, you guys, I'll have to buy one, you know, eventually, or just like use my fingers. It is Jamaica and I'm in the pool. So
you're free living, you know? And I just like, that's funny because there's so many excuses that both of us could have used to be like, okay, let's schedule it until next week. let's start our first one, you know, like people will understand, you know, you're traveling and you could blame it on the Wi-Fi or just with the crazy business, you know what I mean? Like we could have had so many outs to it. But something that I've really started to like see about myself, I'm so freaking passionate about what I'm doing, that like
That's
nothing
what drives you. Yeah.
Totally. You know, like the shit that would have held me back before, like if we would have tried to do this probably in the beginning of our journey, I would have been like, hell no.
Yeah.
But, you know, now, like, especially because of, like you said, the support system we have. One, we have an amazing support system within our community. And, you know, everybody's doing all these things that are stepping outside of their comfort zone, which inspires you to do the same thing. But not only that, like the intimate relationships, like, you know, with me and you, we talk all of the time. And, you know, relating back to what, you know, what you said, without you, I probably would have bailed on a lot of things.
Yeah. And that's not who I want to be. Like that,
No.
that isn't me. That isn't who I want to be. And so, see, we're making each other better.
Totally. And I think it's important to find people who bring that out in you. I think it's so vital. If you don't have, you know, the people who inspire you and like not force you, but empower you to commit to things
and want to follow through with it.
Because I am not that kind of person. Like I'm gonna be honest here. My past is made up of a lot of failed commitments where I would either overcommit and push things to the side, or I would let fear and doubt play a decision. And you know, that is something that I really wanted to change about myself, because I wanted to be able to commit more. I wanted to be able to be true to my word when I say I'm going to do something for myself, because that's really what was holding me back from living the life that I ultimately wanted, was the fact that I would commit to all these amazing things and then I fucking wouldn't do them. And so, yeah, and that support system is vital. So you guys, if you don't have a support system that is backing you up, you know, like me with sharing our community and with me and Manny's relationship, you don't have people like that in your life, that's where you need to start. Don't start by making more commitments to yourself. Start by finding a support system that's actually going to work for you.
Absolutely. I totally agree. That's been, there's so many big changes that have happened this past year, but that's a huge one for me, is that instead of making all the commitments that I think everyone else wants me to do, and me feeling, you know, obligated to say yes, guilty if I don't say yes. And then I sit there at the end of it when those obligations are approaching and I'm trying desperately to think of a way to get out of it. I'm like, can a kid get sick? Like literally, then I would be like, okay, sorry, they're really not well. I can't. That sounds horrible. But it is, like, I've noticed that about myself so much, is that I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to do all these things. We're so similar, Alex. And then I'm like, how can I get out of this? Because I don't really want to do it. And I've stopped doing that. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm either like taking a step back and really thinking it through, saying, you know what, let me think about that, instead of being like, oh yeah, and then being like, uh-oh. In the moment, I really did mean what I said. That's the thing. It's not me lying. Sometimes I really do think, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, but I can't. What am I talking about?
I know. And, you know, like, that's what my issue is I overcommit so much. And then I feel overwhelmed when I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I ever do that? If I would have taken a minute to like
think it through,
think about my schedule, then I, you know, and it's about getting comfortable with telling people no. Like, I'm a people pleaser. I've realized that about myself. I am like, yes, 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 because I want to please the damn people. But the fact is it's making me fucking miserable. So, you know, my 2019, one of the resolutions is to just tell people no, like fuck no.
and live for you and be okay, and not feel that the heavy guilt, right? And I've said this a few times, like in the past few months even, is that I understand that family and friends, sometimes you do things for others that maybe you wouldn't do, but you know, they deserve it. They deserve your time. They deserve your support, even if you have to get a little bit uncomfortable to help them out or be inconvenienced rather. Like, they deserve that. But also, relationships need to be reciprocated. Like, that needs to be given back to you. And I've really started reflecting on which relationships just literally freaking drain me. And the obligation that comes with that, I am done with. And it doesn't mean I don't like you, but I'm done doing things out of obligation where I feel guilty if I do, guilty if I don't. Like, I'm just done with it. So I know that Alex, you and I are like working on a huge launch right now for our businesses.
Yes.
And the support and everything that I've had from everyone, and the support that I've been able to give back to people who I work closely with. Like, I would not be spending the time pouring into others if I got nothing in return. And I know that sounds bad, but it's just not possible because it would drain me completely. And then I have nothing to give anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
totally, you have to get to that point where you're like, and that's what I've been starting to do lately, is that the relationships that, like you were saying, drain me, I cut them out now, and I don't give them as much time as I used to, because, you know, I felt the support, like you said, the support that's given both ways, and what that does to me, that makes me feel fucking great.
And it makes me pour into others more. It's like this, this awesome cycle. Usually you would say it's like this vicious cycle. It's not. This is the awesome, like constantly rising cycle. And
it builds you up.
Right. And I know so many people out there, you know, they work online in whatever fashion. Like, I have a family member that does Beachbody. I know people that sell It Works, Scentsy. Like, there's 1,000 things out there right now. And I mean, all of them generally love what they do, but the community of support within every business totally differs. And it's not even just like, oh, if you're with Beachbody, you're doing so good. It depends on the team that you're on. And I just know what I've connected with truly means a lot to me. And I know that this month is freaking booming. And anybody that's watching this that wants to contact us and we can go into more of what we do, definitely let us know. That's not what this platform is for, although we've been talking a lot about the support just because that's part of our everyday lives now. So it's kind of hard not to have that part of it, but reach out to Alex or myself, and we can always talk about that side of things, because you'll definitely see some posts on our pages about that as well. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Oh my God, I have like the worst pregnancy brain. Can we just talk about that for a second? Like, I've been finding I went to my midwife appointment right before I jumped on this with you, and like mid-sentence, all the words just go blank. I've been feeling like a space case. So on top of like everything that's going on, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just a walking
baby brain. Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's been interesting, the conversations that I've had. People look at me like, are you okay? Like, what happened there?
Are you drunk? No, I'm not. I'm pregnant.
I promise you I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like this pregnancy has been so different than my last two. And my midwife, she's like, well, you know, age does affect that. And I was like,
bitch, what are you saying?
Pardon me? I'm still young, okay? But it does. I feel completely different than when I did with my previous two. I feel more aches and pains than I did before. I feel like mentally, I just don't feel up to par.
And how old are you, Alex? Or will you say?
27. I'm not even lying.
Okay, well, now I'm going to give you a big this, because I actually didn't know how old you were. You know what? Not because it doesn't matter, I guess, right? But I am 33. I'm turning 34 this year. And
I would not have guessed that.
Oh, it's because I'm just so young, Alex. See? It's because that's why I'm wearing the headphones, to hold my face back.
Give yourself a little facelift.
Very good. I wrote a few things down because I wanted to give a few travel tips here. And each time I go on vacation, whether it's with kids or without, I have a solid few things that I always take with me. And until you travel a little bit, you don't know until you get there and you don't have it. And then you're like, well, shit, I can't even pick that up, can I? So number one, everybody chafes, okay? I don't care if you are man, woman, child, overweight, underweight, it doesn't matter. Any part of your body that rubs together, let me tell you, it's a problem. So I never leave without baby powder, Vaseline, and diaper cream, literally. And because whether you're in a resort, a villa, on a cruise, like, you would think oh, I'll just pick it up there. No, you won't. Like, you literally won't. And if you are lucky enough to find it, be prepared to be like $20 for this much Vaseline or something, right? So literally always pack that stuff. And an extra hairbrush in a different bag. Yeah, that was like my biggest thing. Oh my God.
Oh girl, not even traveling, let's just be honest, that diaper cream I use for myself even now. Like you said, the chafing, I couldn't imagine like traveling and stuff, just because with the heat and the constant sitting and all that kind of stuff. Like I use it now. So
yeah. Oh my God. And my husband always laughs at me because I have this huge like pharmacy pack. And I take half of it in my carry-on and half of it, like, I pack in checked luggage. Everything from sinus cold stuff, Robaxacet, Advil, like, you name it, I've got it. Drew, the kids were playing hide and go seek, and he was, like, running and, like, hit the fan. Well, his finger went into this fan. I don't even know, and it, like, sliced it open. I was like, wait a minute. I got the Polysporin, I've got wraps, like I'm all ready. So
Dr. Mandy.
That's right, because it is times where you're away and you're like, oh, I have a sore throat, or like all the AC, like we're not used to AC in Canada. Like I don't know where everyone's watching from, but AC is like not a thing. Well, not in my life anyways, but like we don't have fully air conditioned houses like everywhere. Maybe some people do, but AC always like gets to me, all the recycled cold air. So I usually always end up taking some sort of sinus medication anyways. And if you had to buy it, like it's not happening. Yeah. Also, alcohol is so cheap everywhere. Like, it is so cheap, you guys. I can't get over how badly we get ripped off in Canada in general, and like Alberta is just freaking brutal.
I've heard people who have gone traveling who have said like, oh man, I wish I could bring the alcohol prices back with us.
Right. Like, I like my alcohol when I'm at home, let alone on vacation. I'm like, yes. So those are my pro tips so far. One last one. But some people are going to think I'm crazy. So when you travel with your kids, don't leave without multiple types of Gravol.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I tell you, like, kids a lot on planes, like, get sick. So are you going to wait to see, like, oh, will Billy get sick? No. Drug that kid up. Give him the Gravol. Like,
Billy's going to get sick.
Yeah, Billy could be sick. Sick, or he'll sleep. Either way, like, don't. So,
and I even do that with like my kids now when we go on long, like me and Mark have been doing a lot of the traveling within Canada. And so like those long 7-hour drives, both my kids, they're very prone to getting car sick. And so we just pop them some Gravol before we go, and it's a great trip for everybody. You know, sanity for mom, the kids aren't getting sick.
They're well rested.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, here, have this yummy candy. Ooh. Yeah. And someone had said to me, well, like, are they going to get sick? I'm like, I don't know. I've never given it like up to chance. Like, why am I chancing this? To be like, oh, I know you puke now we'll give it to you. Like, no, it doesn't hurt them. I was so sick when I was pregnant, like puke every meal. Like, I could not hold things down. And it wasn't just the first, trimester or whatever. It was always, and I could take Gravol when I was pregnant. And I guess that's what's always in the back of my mind is like, I could take it when I was pregnant, guys. Like, my kids are hardly going to be harmed by this.
They're fine.
Guess what they'll be harmed by? Puking on a plane and being so sad and never wanting to do it again.
Well, exactly. So, you take the lesser evil, right?
Yeah. So judge me all you want, but you're going to want these tips.
And I think it's funny. I like, just to end the session, I think it's always funny when I'm talking to parents or people who don't have kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling them something that I do to make my life easier, to make my kids' life easier. And I get that judgmental look like, oh, you do that? hell yes, I do that. And until you have kids of your own, you shouldn't be looking at me like that.
That is right. That is damn right. My older two are my stepsons, who are 13 and 15, but I've been around since they were about 4 and 5. And I remember coming into it, you know, you have all these ideas of how you're going to be as a parent, and boom, now I'm like around these kids. And I would be like, you let them do that? Or, oh, they shouldn't act that way. And then now I'm like, holy, I really had to like take a few steps down because I was that person. Yeah. And now I just think, yeah, do not judge anybody because you never know what they're freaking going through. And
exactly, right? You don't know how strong-willed that child is. You have no idea what that 3-year-old put that parent through while they're, you know, bringing them through the grocery store, ignoring them scream or whatever it is, right? Like now when I see parents dealing with kids who are like pre-kids, I might have looked at that parent and said like, geez, like, why don't you just give that kid a hug? Now I see them and I'm like, girl, I feel you. I know it's okay. Can I help you with anything?
That's right. Do you need a helping hand? Do you need a hug? Something. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and we will be posting this. I'm just going to show you behind me. Can you see it, Alex?
Way to make us jealous. I'm going to now be going into the cold. I think it's going to snow today, so I just want to let you know I am going to definitely be having the sunshine in my mind because we have gloomy days back here in Canada.
Well, guess what? This next year is holding huge things, and as businesses start to grow, guess what? So does all the places you can go. Let me
girl, and we're going to be planning some fun girl trips too. I'm so excited.
Like the Awaken event.
Yes, I really, really want to go, and you know, I hear Vegas is a lot of fun.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, anyone looking for an awesome personal development event, there is something in Vegas, and if you want any info on that, definitely let us know. Yeah. So that's your first quick and dirty at 11:30.
Oh, I love it. Thank you guys all for watching. We appreciate all of your love and support as always, and we look forward to actually jumping on a live call with you the next round. So stay tuned for that.
All right, have a good day, everyone.
All right.